Greetings, I am the wrestling fan. I may not be the best wrestling fan, but I am the finest. And I'm kind of playing catch up here, but these are my pick of the months for February, March, and April of 2016. Okay, so let's start with the February 2016 pick of the month. Now, in January came a certain individual that most people, including myself, did not think would ever step foot in a WWE ring. And that man, of course, is AJ motherfucking Phenomenal Styles. I never thought that AJ Styles would bring his phenomenal self to a WWE ring. I didn't think WWE was smart enough to bring him in. And then NXT started, and everyone thought, okay, well, AJ Styles was let go by TNA, probably the worst move in that company's history, and that's saying something. But then he made a huge name for himself over in New Japan Pro Wrestling, became one of the only Americans to win the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship twice. I mean, that's honestly unheard of. I know Vader did it, and Brock Lesnar did it. I think those are the only three Gaijins. If you don't know what that word means, look it up. In IWGP history to win that title. It's one of the most prestigious championships in professional wrestling. It's one of the best looking championships in professional wrestling, possibly the best looking one in my opinion. But I just never thought it would happen. And then at the Royal Rumble earlier this year, AJ Styles made his debut in the Royal Rumble, and I marked out. I freaked out. I was like a little kid, and I was so excited. By the time it happened, I had already done my January pick of the month. So I decided for February I was going to choose a AJ Styles match, and I really wanted to choose one from TNA because he did have a lot of great matches in TNA, but all the matches I own in my collection, none were from February. But I found one from AJ Styles' alma mater. He's one of the granddaddies of Ring of Honor. So I found a match that I just finally watched recently, and it is freaking phenomenal. So my pick of the month for February 2016 is AJ Styles versus CM Punk in the finals of Ring of Honor's Pure Championship Series. I'll get to that in a second. Which took place at Ring of Honor's second anniversary show on February 14th, 2004. Now, I'm going to go over this match just briefly. That is the pick of the month, but it is a very, very good match. I'll admit AJ Styles and CM Punk have had better. The match that takes place on the DVD set, which I'll show you in a second, is actually a little bit better. But this one, it's a piece of history. A lot of you may not know what the Ring of Honor Pure title is. I didn't for the longest time. I had heard about it, but it was a championship that only lasted for a couple of years. I'm still a little confused by what they were going for. I mean, I do kind of get it. It had some funky rules, at least funky in my opinion, and the championship just never really took off. I mean, some great people held it. Samoa Joe, Bryan Danielson, some others. I'm not going to say who wins this match. I don't want to ruin it. But two of my all-time favorites, CM Punk and AJ Styles, clashing, and it was a great piece of work. It wasn't a 5-star classic by any means, but it's AJ Styles and CM Punk, you know, and it's weird to think that this was 12 years ago. It's so strange that time just flies, man, that these two guys were big on the indies, and now both of them have been world champions in different organizations. It's weird to see how far they've come. I mean, CM Punk is now retired and possibly going to make a UFC debut eventually. I don't know. I'm not picking on the guy, and just who knows when it's going to happen. He's had a lot of setbacks. And AJ Styles is now in WWE main eventing pay-per-views for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. It kills me. But back to the match. This match, I highly recommend it. It's a great match. These two meshed very, very well together. You know, at the time, CM Punk was in the Second City Saints with Colt Cabana. AJ Styles was, doing his own thing. in Ring of Honor, making a name for himself. You know, he had invented the Styles Clash, and that really got him over. Plus, he was a phenomenal wrestler, but the Styles Clash was so new and fresh. CM Punk with his Pepsi Plunge at the time, and, you know, he was killing it. And they just meshed really, really well, and there was a lot of great submissions and reversals in the match. It wasn't that it was sloppy, it's just they seemed to kind of be getting a feel for each other. I don't know. It was a little off in some parts. CM Punk's manager, Daphne, maybe? I didn't catch her name, I can't remember. Or Tracy Brooks, maybe that was it. I think it might have been Tracy Brooks. She, I think, interfered towards the beginning, but there were some weird rules, like with the rope breaks and stuff I didn't really understand. I still don't really fully understand the rules of the championship, but it was still, you know, if you really want, it's a piece of history. It crowned the first ever Ring of Honor Pure Champion, and it was an important moment, not just in CM Punk's career, but in AJ Styles' career. So I do very much recommend the match. It was on a great DVD set. Not an AJ Styles DVD set, but a CM Punk DVD set. Usually I would show the picture of the DVD, but unless I don't have it, I'm actually going to show that I have it in my collection, just because the collection is now a big part of the show. So it's on the CM Punk, get the light off of it, CM Punk Second City Saint DVD. It's actually the first CM Punk DVD set released by Ring of Honor. Great set. That match is on the second disc, and right after it is a rematch for the Ring of Honor Pure title between AJ and CM Punk, and it is a better match. I recommend both matches, but that one took place in March, and I already have a pick of the month for March. But again, great match. I'll say it again, phenomenal as always. A great piece of AJ Styles' wrestling history, a great moment in his career. I'm so glad he's in WWE. He's doing fantastic work in WWE so far, and of course, you know, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson are with him now, and they are the Club, or whatever they're calling themselves. So it's good times. You know, it's really good times. And CM Punk is getting back surgery, so you know he's doing fine too. But anyway, let's move on to the next pick of the month. Yeah, let's move on to that. So, thinking of the pick of the month for March, I was trying to decide what to do. I didn't want to do a second Ring of Honor match. I try not to repeat myself with organizations, or I try to mix it up with tag matches or triple, you know, whatever I can find. And it's going to be another Ring of Honor match, which I'm sure none of you will complain about, but I don't want to repeat myself, but I kind of had to, because a certain man, there was another big debut in WWE, not as big as AJ Styles, but big if you're an indie nerd. Or not even indie nerd, I mean, people know who this guy is. He's made a name for himself all over the world. That is the greatest man that ever lived, Austin Aries. And WWE secured him. You know, he's a former TNA champion. He was the first man in Ring of Honor to win the Ring of Honor World title twice. I think only Jay Briscoe is the only other man to ever do that. So that's a big deal. And he came to NXT. And so far, I mean, he's not being used to his full potential, but things may be changing on that. I don't know. You know, he kind of came at a rough time, because he made his debut at TakeOver Dallas, NXT TakeOver Dallas, and that was also the debut of Shinsuke Nakamura. And as much as I am an Austin Aries fan, I'm a much bigger Shinsuke Nakamura fan. So it kind of, you know, it was going to be his big debut. He was basically completely overshadowed by Shinsuke, which I'm sure he didn't care a lot about, but I'm sure it burned him a tiny bit. But regardless, he is one of the best wrestlers around, and he's been doing fine work in NXT. I hope it turns around for him. But I decided to go with an Austin Aries match in Ring of Honor. So, my pick of the month for March 2016 is Bryan Danielson versus Austin Aries from Ring of Honor's Take No Prisoners, which took place on March 16th, 2008. Now, most of the matches I have from Austin Aries are from Ring of Honor. I think I have a few from TNA, but not very many, unfortunately. But Austin Aries, some of his best work was in Ring of Honor. He's another one of Ring of Honor's kind of granddaddies, and got the company off the ground with his great matches. And I was looking through my Ring of Honor collection, and I came across Bryan Danielson's last DVD set, which I'll get to that at the end. And there were a couple matches with Austin Aries on there, but one took place in March. So I watched it. And I've seen matches between these two before, and they're always they're delicious. They're just masterpieces. And this match was no exception. It was very fast-paced, but it was a lot of submissions between the two. I mean, Bryan Danielson is known for his submissions. I don't know if Austin Aries is. As big of a fan as I am of Austin Aries, I know he's a great high flyer, and he's got a great arsenal of weapons at his disposal, but I didn't know about his submission game. But man, he brought it. And there were a lot of moves by him and some by Bryan that I had never seen before, which is weird considering, I've had these DVD sets and I've seen so much wrestling, but there's a lot of stuff they pulled out that I did not see before. And it would get really, really fast-paced, and it would slow down. And it would slow down and slow the crowd down. And it was just great ring psychology. Just a really athletic back-and-forth contest between two of the best wrestlers ever. And it made me really miss Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson. It just sucks. I mean, there was actually a moment... the ending of this match is fantastic. One of the best I've seen in a while. Just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth for like 5 minutes. At least it felt like. I know it was multiple minutes. And I didn't know who was going to win. And I try to keep it that way with these DVDs and Blu-rays. I don't want to know who wins these matches so I can get into them if they're that good. In this match, it really was that good. And I think there's another him and Austin Aries match on the same DVD set. It's for the Ring of Honor World title, I believe. And I cannot wait to watch that. And on Bryan Danielson's DVD set, or his first one, they have a couple matches, and I've never seen those. I'm going to watch one. I think one is a 2 out of 3 falls match that goes almost an hour. Mwah! Just delicious. I'm going to eat it all up. But this match was a great singles match between the two. But the ending sequence was just got me so invested, and it was a shame that it was the end of the match. But submission after submission and elbows and kicks, and I kept going, stop kicking Daniel Bryan in the head, or Bryan Danielson, whatever, stop, because he can't take it. He had concussions, but they didn't know that at the time, and it's kind of hard to watch now. I know it's fake, but it looks real enough. But this match is great. I highly recommend it. DVD's over here. The DVD set that is on, another Ring of Honor DVD, Bryan Danielson's final Ring of Honor DVD set, at least for the moment, The Final Countdown. This was basically his, Disc 2 I think is more of his final tour, but this was before he went to WWE, and it's a collection of the rest of his very, very fine matches. And yeah, there's a couple, him and Austin Aries as the tag team, him and Austin Aries in singles, but this match is on Disc 1. It's the second match on Disc 1, and highly recommend it. Great DVD set. He's got 3 of them, and all of them are, if you really, now that Bryan Danielson is retired, get the 3 DVD sets. It's great work, plus his one in WWE. But this is about Austin Aries. I think Ring of Honor has some Austin Aries DVD sets, and eventually I would like to get them. He's not one of my favorites, at least not yet, so that's why I haven't gotten it yet. I think he probably has more than one, but I have a lot of his matches on these DVD sets, and I want to watch every single one of them to know who the greatest man on earth is really like as a wrestler. But from what I've seen so far, he's fantastic. So, that was my pick of the month for March. Let's move on to the last one in April. Okay, so April is a huge month every damn year because it's WrestleMania month. So, for the past pick of the months that I've done, I've tried to make my pick of the month center around somebody going in the Hall of Fame. And that's not always so simple because not only do they have to be a candidate for the Hall of Fame, someone going in that year, they also have had to have had a good match in April of that year, unless WrestleMania happens to be in March. So that's hard. But this year, the main event of the Hall of Fame, and they had a lot of really good people go in. Nobody I can even think about being pissed about going in. But the main attraction was Sting. Sting. A WCW legend, a wrestling legend who people thought would never show up in WWE. And then at Survivor Series 2014, he made his grand entrance, and it was very, very well done. And through video packages, I mean, the fans were very, very much behind him. I mean, he's in his mid-50s, but still looks great. He had a great run in TNA, was probably there for way too long, but had a great run there, had a second career resurgence. It's a shame that that didn't happen in WWE, but you know what? For what he did in WWE, he did just fine. And he got his WrestleMania moment at WrestleMania 31 in a match that I think people shit on a little too much between him and Triple H. Before all the interference at the end, they were having a really good match, and the crowd was into it. I mean, what do you expect? It's a guy in his mid-50s who probably shouldn't be wrestling anymore, and unfortunately, after the Hall of Fame, we learned that he wouldn't be anymore. So, happy retirement to Sting. You have nothing left to prove. I'm glad you got your WrestleMania and WWE moments. But, you know, it's between him and Triple H, who's in his mid-40s. Like, what do you expect? What they did was great. And at the time, spoiler alert, I guess, but when Sting lost that match, it shocked me. I was like, really? Really? But he said on his Blu-ray documentary that that was supposed to be his final match, and you're supposed to lose your last match. That's an old school mentality, and I think it's the right way to go. You should lose. But then, of course, he had his match against Seth Rollins, which was a great match. Unfortunately, Sting got injured, and that led to his retirement. It is what it is. You know, in wrestling, nothing is ever concrete because it's a physical sport. But regardless, I wanted to find a match of his that took place in April to celebrate the career of Sting, because I had a feeling that he was going to announce his retirement. And I found a match that is actually one of my all-time favorite matches. It's not high up on the list, but it's actually my favorite WCW match, and what I feel was the best WCW Nitro match, Monday Nitro match, in history, in my not-so-humble opinion. So, my pick of the month for April 2016 is Sting versus Diamond Dallas Page for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship, which took place on WCW Monday Nitro on April 26, 1999. So, this match, I think a lot of people know about it. I don't think it gets the praise it deserves, because it is one of the best matches I've ever seen take place in WCW, especially for the World Heavyweight Championship. And let's be honest, the majority of matches that are seen are classic in WCW, at least during the Attitude Era, or the Monday Night War era, they weren't the main event matches. They were the Cruiserweight matches or the undercard matches. They were never the main events, because it was usually Hulk Hogan, or I don't want to say Macho Man because he had great matches, or Ric Flair had great matches, but, you know, it was a lot of not great stuff. You know, older stars doing their older shticks. But this match in '99, when WCW was really starting to lose the war badly, really badly, Sting and DDP put on my favorite match in WCW. There were better matches, you know, but it's my favorite match, and especially, I think it's the best match in Monday Nitro history. Maybe not the biggest, but the crowd was really into it. They felt like they were finally given something they could sink their teeth into, you know, and they were really, really for Sting, and they really hated DDP, who was a heel at the time, and during one of his very short title reigns. But the match was almost flawless. The guys had great chemistry together, really fed off each other, and just so many, you know, reversals and big-time moves. They fought into the crowd. It felt like an Attitude Era match at the time, honestly, except the wrestling was kind of better. And the ending sequence was really well done, and the outcome was kind of shocking in a way. It was, and there was no interference. There was no interference. It was a one-on-one match, and in WCW, from trying to catch up on the Monday Nitros and even the pay-per-views, oh my God, every fucking main event ended in some kind of goddamn interference, and that was one of the big reasons they failed eventually, because you can't do that every main event. You have to have some clean outcomes every now and then. And unless it fit into the story, which it never did, but this was a clean match, and the crowd was just so hyped for it and so happy with it, and it really was a great piece of wrestling. It was like, it wasn't a technical masterpiece, but for putting on a great show for fans and getting their asses out of the seats two people on Monday Nitro have rarely done it better, if ever. They kind of ruined the outcome of this match later in the night, but fuck it. Doesn't take away from the match. If you haven't seen it, like I said, I don't think this match is not well known, but I think it's underappreciated. So if you want to watch it, there are two ways besides the WWE Network. The first one, it is on Volume 1 of the very best of WCW Monday Nitro, and it is also on one of the new WWE releases, Sting, Into the Light. It has his documentary, but this is one of the matches that they chose on, and this is a really good set too, and both sets are really good. So I very much recommend this match. I wasn't the biggest WCW fan back in the day. I'm still not. I respect what the company did, and a lot of my favorite matches happen at WCW, but never for the WCW title, so it's nice to have this match and have it be one of my favorites. So there you go. I did those are the pick of the months for February, March, and April. I promised there will be another video where it's my pick of the month for this month, which is May 2016, and that will be coming out with this video as well. So I'm actually probably going to get to that. So thank you very much for watching. I'm The Wrestling Fan, and I got more wrestling to watch. So I will see you next time, peepers, peepetters. Later.